Good morning, everybody. Well, it's high noon, and welcome everybody to GoFor Lunch number 38 on a snowy Tucson morning. And there we go. Hi, glad you could join us today. I don't know what happened where you were or are still, but where I am and was, it snowed this morning. So it was pretty interesting and not something that we see a lot. Good morning, Kay, and hello, Betty, and Kurt, and Leslie, and Deb, and Bob. Thank you all for joining. Well, first I would like to thank everybody for persevering last week when we had our looping problem. I watched that and it was painful. So thank you for sticking in there. And we're going to try that again just to see if we fix the problem. I have updated the software. Actually, the programmers updated the software, not because of that problem necessarily, but hopefully the problem has been fixed. But we have Plan B, so we're not going to go to Safari for long periods of time until we can figure out whether it's behaving. So yes, I do. I do have red shirts. The red is my brand, I decided. So when you see a red shirt coming, you know it's probably me. Good morning, Helen. Glad you could join us. So let's, we have a kind of a variety show today, and let's talk about a few things that are going on around us. So the first thing that's going on around us is snow. You see here on the map, this blue stuff? Well, that's snow. Let's see if we can move this up a little bit and zoom in. So here's Tucson right in the center. These little circles. So this is Wonder Map, which is my favorite weather map. And you can see it's dynamic. It just changed. So you can see, you may not be able to see, but in this little circle, they got 0.33 inches of precipitation. And here we got 0.11 and 0.34 out here on the Ajo Highway. So got a little rain here and there. And of course, some of it was in the form of snow. In other late breaking news, 40,000 people, no, not 40,000, 20,000? Let's see. Oh, they're not saying. So I think it's 20,000 people. First it was 4,000 people. And then the next, like an hour later, it was 20,000 people. And as Kurt mentioned, oh, wrong Kurt mention. Let's find the other Kurt mention. Where he lives, which is out in this area, close to Saguaro National Park, east. He was out of power for an hour and a half, but it's back now. So hopefully, if you are out in that area, your power has been restored. So that reminds us of something that we've talked about before. And we've already talked about the white stuff coming from the ground. And so you need to be prepared for Tucson Electric power outages because many years ago, like, I don't know, 20, maybe 30 years ago, I went to a meeting from representative of Tucson Electric Power. And they basically said have done everything that they're going to do to protect the quality and the availability of their electricity to your house. So from here on out, it's up to you if you want something more. So I'm just going to briefly mention this. What you want to do is have surge suppressors, and you want to have uninterruptible power supplies, also known as UPSs. And those UPSs should have brown out protection. So brown out means so normally the power is at 110 roughly volts, 110 volts. And so if it drops down, that can cause a problem the same way as if it goes too high or it cuts out completely. So a UPS is a good idea to have on your computer and also maybe on your home theater system. And if you have any questions about that, we can go into that in a deeper way. Just give me a call. So next, let's talk about the Better Business Bureau is warning us about vaccine scams. So let's go back here and look at that. So this there's a bunch of different scams centered around the vaccines. Um, well, let's catch up with whoever is. Good morning or good afternoon. It is afternoon, Jim. Thanks for reminding me. And Phil and Phyllis are here. Good day to you. And now Kurt adds that his UPS saved everything. So another note on the UPS is it's not designed to keep everything going so you can do whatever you're doing. UPS is designed so you can shut things down safely without losing any data, because when the power quits and your hard drive hasn't saved something, it's gone. So that's what a UPS is all about. And good morning, afternoon, Judy. So let's look at the Better Business Bureau COVID-19 vaccine scam alerts. So I'm just going to go through this briefly. You can go to bbb.org, betterbusinessbureau.org, and you can read this in detail. But I wanted to make sure that we're all aware of this latest cyber criminal activity. So they're giving you some suggestions on how to spot a vaccine con. So you should know how the vaccine is being distributed in your area. I think in Tucson it's through the Pima County Health Department. Anytime you see something that your gut feeling is that there's something wrong here, then you need to research it carefully. You can always check with your doctor. Good luck on that. And don't be giving out your Medicare number, your Social Security number, your credit card number, because that's what these guys are after. They're looking for your personal data. So this all ties in with what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. So I'm assuming nobody is telling me that we're looping here. So I think the Better Business Bureau website is scanning okay. So you can also check the URL that the request, if it came from a website, is coming from. I had a client call the other day, and they had something that was supposed to be from Amazon or some known company, and the name on the email was grace@gmail.com. So you know that wasn't from Amazon. So be aware, be vigilant, be suspicious, and there's other resources here at the Better Business Bureau. So as you may recall from our last exciting episode, I was telling you about a 50% offer on 1Password. And that is still in effect. I just pulled this website up a few minutes ago, and I think I saw, but I couldn't find it again, that it's good through the end of January. So today being January 26th, you have just a few more days to take advantage of this. So if you're not ready to set it up, I would still grab it before it expires, because again, it's 50% off. So a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about regarding 1Password. And there's some confusion, rightly so, about what to do with 1Password and Keychain. So my recommendation is to use them together. And here is why. 1Password is the place that you would go. This is 1Password over here. 1Password is the place that you would go as your reference to look up passwords, to make changes, because it's very nicely laid out. It's easy to search. unlike keychain, which is not very well laid out and not easy to search. On the other hand, keychain will fill in your passwords without having to unlock 1Password. Now we can set it up so that 1Password stays unlocked as long as possible. But sometimes you would just like to get onto the website. So that's when keychain is handy, and it'll fill in the password. So the passwords are going to be the same in 1Password and in keychain. It's going to be the same information, so they can work together. So it's not an either or, it's a together. Now I do want to re-emphasize, you do not want to let your browsers, whether it be now your browser, Safari of course being your primary browser in many cases, it's okay when Safari comes up, you see the little Safari compass logo, circle, the blue with the compass hands in the center. That one is good. You can say save the password there. But if you see anything else that doesn't say 1Password or have the word keychain access or the blue circle of the compass, then don't say save the password. So that would be in Google Chrome, in Firefox, or any other browser you might be using. You don't want to put them in the browser. Just Safari/keychain and 1Password. So I was installing 1Password for Barbara, who I don't see Barbara here yet. And we found out something that I have known for years is that the banks keep changing the way they want you to log in. So we ran into a problem with a bank, and we put in the password. We had 1Password installed and turned on, and we had 1Password, remembered the password, and it came back in all asterisks, and it would not fill in. So I fired off an inquiry to Agile Bits, which is the company that publishes 1Password, and I'm waiting for an answer. So it's a little cat and mouse game with banks. Sometimes they keep changing things, and 1Password then will catch up, and it'll be good for months and months, and then banks will change something and they'll have to catch up again. So it's not 100% guaranteed that, especially with financial institutions, that 1Password will work without a little finagling. So one of the things I wanted to do today is make sure that Safari was working. So I haven't heard from anybody that says it isn't, so that's great. And I wanted to just kind of do a couple of quick hits on things like UPSs and some cybersecurity information on the vaccine scams. And now I would like for you to ask me anything. So there's kind of a new trend on the internet. It's called AMA, Ask Me Anything. So if there's anything on your mind about Apple products or other technology, fire away. And while you're doing that, let me remind you to subscribe. And when you subscribe, I'm all choked up this morning. Must be the snow. When you subscribe, you can click on the little button, and you can, the little bell, and it'll let you know when we go live. Also, please feel free to share the Gopher Gazette that comes out every Monday morning at about 7 o'clock with your friends and neighbors and family so that we can help other people find the YouTube Live every Tuesday at noon so that they can be helped with their Apple products and other home and small business technology. So, as always, I do have the proper CDC approved materials to come and see you, and screen sharing is working well, so we can do remote things on a lot of issues. Not everything can be done remotely. So let's go to an Ask Me Anything question. So Judy has an excellent question. She has an older Mac that she wants to get cleaned so she can donate it to her put it back up here again, her grandson. And so is there an easy way to do that? And can I do it for her? Yes, I can definitely do it for you. So this is a good thing to remember. Anytime you are going to give away, sell, donate your products that have your personal data on them, you do want to clean them off. So in the case of a Mac, what you can do, or what I can do for you, is we basically erase the hard drive, and then we reinstall the operating system. So on an older Mac, that can be tricky, because if it's a real old Mac, like more than, say, 4 years old, let's see, right now I think Big Sur will work back to most Macs that were released in 2013. So that's 7 years ago. But if it's any older than 2013, it probably won't take Big Sur. So we would have to go in and erase your data. So you can do that if you like. You can just go into your home folder and just eliminate your downloads and your documents and anything, of course, that's on your desktop. And that would pretty much get rid of your data. And then the other thing that's very important is for you to turn off Find My Mac. And then also you want to log out of your Apple ID account. So Bob, if I've forgotten anything, please chime up. But I think also you should log out of your, if you have an Audible account, you should log out of that. If you have like Microsoft Office, you should probably take that off, because it won't be allowed to be used 2 different places. And of course, the Mac operating system has a built-in word processor, Pages, built-in spreadsheet, which is Numbers, built-in presentation program, which is Keynote. And so if you have any other questions there, Judy, just give me a call. Doriana wants to know, is the 1Password good for renewals? No, I don't think so. I think it's only good for new customers. Yeah, it says so right here on the bottom of the web page. We'll switch over there and see if we can see that. So if you can see that right here at the bottom, it says new 1Password customers only. So if you're already in 1Password, then sorry. Just like the cable company, they don't give you the good prices unless you're a new customer. But that's a good question. Okay, Phil wants to know, should you update your Mac to Big Sur? And he spelled it, because our fingers don't work the way they used to, do they? So I'm running Big Sur, but then I'm also on a 2020 Mac Mini M1, which is the very latest that Apple has. So I always say you want to wait until you're on until the version 0.3 comes out. So right now, if you go to your Apple menu in the upper left-hand corner of your Mac and you go to About This Mac, if you're running Big Sur right now, you will see that it's at 11.1. So it should be 11.3 before I recommend updating. Now, I'm pretty sure that 11.2 is in beta, which means that it's been released to the software developing community so they can make sure that all their programs work with it. So it's just a matter of weeks before that 11.2 will be released to the general public. So wait a little longer. There's really no need to update to Big Sur unless there's something that Big Sur does that you need. So if you're happy, everything's working right, you are fine just to hang out there with Catalina for a while. So that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. I'm sure others of you have been wondering about that because you've been asking me, and I'm pretty consistent saying wait for 11.3. Okay, very good. Well, if there's no more questions, I think we'll just make up for the the long GoFor Lunch we had last week. But wait, there's more. So Mary says that her Affinity bill shot up by $45. She's ready to cut the cable, and she has a Roku, so she's looking at streaming services, but would like to know your opinion on YouTube TV, etc. Okay, so this is a subject that I am well versed in. So number one, you aren't really cutting your cable because you still need internet from Comcast. So you're not going to cut your cable, you're going to cut off your television subscription, but you're going to keep your internet service from Comcast because unless you're lucky enough to live in an area where CenturyLink has laid down fiber optic cable or strung it along your utility poles in your alley, and like some people have, then you're kind of stuck with Comcast when you're outside the city limits and Cox when you're inside the city limits. And of course there's some varying boundaries that blur that distinction, but that's generally the rule. So you always have to hang on to your internet, and that's how you get your streaming services. YouTube TV does give you local channels. I believe it's costing $50 a month now. They raised it. It used to be $40, and they raised it in the last year or so. So YouTube TV is certainly one way to go. There's a bunch of others out there. And what I recommend, if you're interested in local channels, is to get an outside television antenna up on your roof. It'll use the same coax cable that your cable company uses, and you'll get all the local channels. Now you can try getting a patch antenna. So a patch antenna is just a rectangle. Look at that, it's a rectangle that you can tape up to the wall. And I have two different patch antennas that I've experimented with, and when I first got the second one, I put it up high. I've got high ceilings, like 13-foot ceilings. I put it up about 12 feet high in my living room, and I got all the channels. And then the next time I used it, I was missing a few channels. So it's just like Wi-Fi, television is radio waves, and they're not consistent. they bounce around. There's lots of variables. So you can try a patch antenna, indoor antenna. They run $20, $30, $40. I would get one with an amplifier, and you can try it. Order it from Amazon or get it at Best Buy, where you can return it if it doesn't work. An external antenna is going to cost you with installation around probably $200 one time, and you're done for life. So that would be what I would recommend is an external antenna that will get you all your locals for free once you pay for the antenna. And then the Roku has more channels than any other streaming box. So you already have a Roku, so you have access to Apple TV is on the Roku now. So all the streaming services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, they're all on Roku. So you got what you need, plus an external antenna. So Leslie Ann says she tried an internal antenna and could only get PBS and Telemundo. So Leslie Ann lives close to the mountains, the Catalina Mountains, so that's part of the problem. When you live close to the mountains, so here's the mountains and here's you. The signal goes over you because the mountains are in the way. So you're in the shadow of the mountain. So that's why Leslie Ann didn't have great reception. Plus, your house shields radio waves. So depending on the construction of your house, that is another of those variable factors that I mentioned. So again, an outside antenna is the way to go. So, okay, so YouTube is even more expensive. Yeah, $60. So you can see if you get an outside antenna and you're getting YouTube primarily for your local channels, an outside antenna is going to pay for itself in just a few months. So now the Comcast Internet, if you can get Comcast Internet for $35, you're doing really well. I would double check on that because that sounds like a new customer price. But if they'll give you that price, grab it before they change their mind. Because usually for both Cox and Comcast, for 50 megabytes down and 10 megabytes up, it is usually about $60 or $70 a month just for internet. So, oops, what happened there? I didn't click on Doriana. I clicked on Bob and I got Doriana. Let's try this again. There he is. So Bob has a patch antenna and it works fine. But Bob is up high in the Santa Rita Mountain foothills, so he's looking at all of Tucson. So there's transmitters on Mount Lemmon. There's transmitters, I think channel 9 is at Speedway and Kolb area. Channel 13 is up in the northwest area. Channel 6 and Channel 4 are on Mount Lemmon, and they all have translators, which are secondary transmitter sites in different places around town. So sometimes you can get them on a translator. So again, try a indoor antenna with a return privilege. Usually it's going to be 14 days. And put it up right away, see if it works. I can help you with that. And then if it works, you're in like Flynn. And if it doesn't, you can return it and look at getting a professionally installed exterior antenna that will last for the rest of our lives, we would hope. Okay, those are great questions. Cord cutting is something that is happening a lot. You couldn't tell by the fact that the cable companies keep raising their prices. They don't seem to be getting the idea that people are leaving because their prices are so high. So what do? Jack up the prices. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap this baby up. So remember to join us again next Tuesday at noon for GoFor Lunch number 39. So if you have any further questions, you can always give me a call or email me, and I'll be happy to help. So have a good rest of your sunshiny week. The radar shows that the rain is leaving, and hopefully the clouds will go with it, and the sun will come shining through.